Hello everyone, it's LJ here and welcome to the narrated tour of Finch Farm. I have to give you a bit of a warning. If you've never played Fallout 4, there will be some spoilers here because of the nature of Finch Farm and how you acquire Finch Farm and the inhabitants of Finch Farm when you get there. So if you've never played the game before, spoilers, there will be stuff here that has to do with the main storyline. If you don't want to find out about it, you're more than welcome to see the unnarrated tour of the settlement. I will either put a link on the top of the video or it'll be in the description below. So with that said, let's proceed. Right, so Finch Farm. It is a case of when the sole survivor meets the Finch family. Ooh, that is an interesting graphic issue there. Let's not look at the sky for now. When the sole survivor meets the Finch family and manages to resolve the issue that the Finch family has, you rescue their son. In my playthrough, I rescued him. I asked them to become a settlement of the Minutemen. They said yes. So at the end of the main storyline, what has happened is the Finches have been approached by both the main character, by the sole survivor, who brings the proposition to them of having the Minutemen place a communications tower, given that they've got the high ground from the overpass, and the Brotherhood of Steel can have a vertibird landing pad so that they can support any missions that go further out into the Commonwealth or into other places, because of the fact that the higher elevation of the overpass gives them protection, and they will also be then lending protection and aid to the Finches. So the Finches strike a deal, and that's what they end up doing. As you come into the settlement, the first thing you'll notice is that there is a very small cemetery, a very small graveyard. The reason being is I very foolishly accidentally shot one of the settlers during one of the attacks on the settlement. It was one of those swap in and out of vats and accidentally hit the wrong person. So I decided I should do a grave, and I should do a little graveyard just to highlight the mortality of my settlers in the settlement. So you are greeted by the Minutemen as you come in. There is a Minuteman here waiting to greet you. And as you walk in, you'll notice there is a big greenhouse here on the right. The Finches have decided they are going to be utilizing their farm to be able to grow things, even though they complain a lot about the fact that it's a mess and it's full of junk, but it isn't. They've cleaned it, and here we go. They have a stall, they sell food, and it is all food that is collected from the greenhouse here. Now this greenhouse, I'm just going to take a step back, this greenhouse, I would like to give massive props to No Respawns, because I saw his video on how to build greenhouses, and I took inspiration from that video and did this one. And let's not talk about the Brahmin in the room, because the less we say about the Brahmin in the room that shouldn't be there, the better. So yes, the greenhouse is here, and it is all covered, so it takes up all of the arable land space and places it under a nice cover. There's mute fruits, there's corn, carrots, silt beans, and one of the things I decided to do was I was going to make sure that there were living spaces dotted about in the settlement. This is a very big settlement, and I didn't want to have the same thing as in the previous settlement, which was which had a communal living. Oberlin Station had communal living, and everybody just lived in one floor. So what you'll see is they'll be dotted about little living areas with beds and a little bit of relaxation areas, so that there is a bit more functionality. So for example, the people that most likely live here are settlers who are also working who are also working in the settlement. Hello, Tiny. I like her. She's brilliant. She's best settler I've got. Small, tiny small, until she has to go and use a terminal, and then she grows and becomes giant. That's one of the robots. I'm not going to say my kids designed them, but my kids may have designed them. So coming along the perimeter wall, there's turrets. And the turrets are placed where the spawn points would be. And this is where the Brahmin should be. So we'll just leave that like that. There is a pen area here, so that the Brahmin can hang around and have a little bit of drink. But, you know, Brahmins do what Brahmins do. At the back end of the settlement is a lookout tower. And this is the back entrance. And again, back entrance, we've got another little checkpoint that is operated by the Minutemen, and the mod I used to enlarge the settlement size unfortunately didn't push the settlement boundaries all the way to the water, because what I originally wanted to do was build a pier here and make it so that everything border-wise was tied to the pier. So what I've done is I've just put a back gate here, and you know, any ship traffic that brings trade has to come through here, and they'll be greeted. And then over here we've got some chickens, some rabbits, and this door keeps opening every time I close it, and some dogs. The chickens and rabbits are Far Harbor assets, and I thought it'd be great if they could go ahead and have a bit of livestock that came from other places, just to show you how much the settlement has grown. And at the top of the tower you've got some more Minutemen who are keeping an eye out. Well, you know, that's why I've armed all of you to the teeth, so you can stop the raider attacks. So here we've got nice area for them to be able to guard, have a good lookout, sit if they need to while they're on their shifts. And down there, that is the communal washrooms. I have put communal washrooms as opposed to individual bathrooms in all the different areas, because it is a bit of a challenge to do individual bathrooms. And I thought it works better if the aesthetics have them like this. So just like in Oberlin Station, what you've got here, rather than full bathrooms, is you've got washrooms. So there are sinks for people to wash, mirrors, and then if we come over here behind these privacy walls, is you'll have a changing area, and you will have showers, individual shower cubicles. So I thought it's a good way of splitting it, so that you've got washrooms, and if you need to use the toilets, you go to the toilets. I'll show you where they are in a second. One of the things I wanted to show that is not on the unnarrated video, the tour, is the gazelle pen. And the floating Brahmin. Right, let's not focus on the floating Brahmin. Let's instead focus on the gazelles. I built this tiny pen there and gave a lot of thought about what I wanted to put. And I didn't opt for floating Brahmin, as you can see. I instead opted for gazelles, because I thought it'd be really nice to have something exotic that showcases how much trade goes through Finch Farm. So, yep, that's what I did. Now, if we come this way, Again, we're going to be going around the perimeter first, just to quickly see things. You'll find that this is where the toilets are, which is a bit convenient because I've put them next to the to the side of the restaurant, so patrons can use a toilet if they need to. Outhouses. And if we come this way, there's another outhouse here. Again. And over here we've got another guard station with another guard, so that they can look out and see things that are coming out from this direction, which I think is north. Yes, should be north. And then those guards can use this trailer as their accommodation. And the guards are also keeping an eye on the water purifying plant. So this is an area best left for the engineers. There's plenty of spare parts if they need them. Tools as well. And everything that they need to keep the water purifiers working, providing safe drinking water for the settlement. And this toilet here is the toilet that is assigned. Hey, there's nobody there this time around. One of the other times I filmed, there was somebody sitting there. I think that settler over there. That toilet is to serve the clinic. Because it's a fairly big settlement, there is a fairly big clinic, and there is a doctor at hand to help out. There's a nice little waiting area, so that whoever comes in can wait if the doctor's busy. And as you come in here, you've got...
If you need fixing up, let's get a look at it.
I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm not ill. But there we go. A couple of beds, and plenty of chems, and plenty of space for the doctor to work and cure anybody and anything that is an issue. And over here there is an open air workshop, so there's benches for any work that needs doing. There's a washing machine, chemistry workbench, and this bit here is an annex to the Finch's main house. And what I've done with the annex is, if you come up to the top, what you've got here is a room for anyone who comes in. The Finches use it as an overflow room. If they've got travelers who need to spend the night, they can pay a few caps and come up here, and they've got access to a room. And you come down this way, there's more turrets, again protecting the settlement. This is a bit of a covered space and a rest area for traveling traders. And this over here I did for the Finches themselves. I thought this would be a nice addition to their house, their own bathroom, so that the Finches can do what they need to do in peace. And I think they deserve it, since they've transformed the settlement. So this is for them. This is their bathroom. Now if we turn around and go back this way, here we've got the watchtower for the main entrance, and you've got the Minutemen guarding it. And then as you come over here, this is the Minutemen quarters, their room. It's not a barrack because it's not. It's clearly not military, not Spartan, not functional. Well, it is functional, but they've got their own living area. They've got space to sleep, space to keep their belongings, space to eat, and then it's tied right next to their to the office, to the entrance. So we come back. We've done a full run of the perimeter, and this is the Finch's house. I've done a little bit of greenery decoration, and I've literally just tidied up the inside, added a few things, just a little bit of decorating. I didn't want to touch their house that much. It's an odd statement to make, that in a game where you can build a settlement and do whatever you want, I felt a bit intrusive decorating the settlers' houses for the settlers that came with the original settlement. It's weird, but it's how I felt. I just didn't want to do much to it. So we keep coming along, and what we've got here is the settlement's restaurant. So anybody who travels in or anybody who works can come here, and they can have a lovely meal, have a nice sit down, have a Nuka-Cola, and get something from the counter. And there's a little bit of everything going on, a little bit of food. And then what I wanted to do with the big building that connects the lower part of the settlement with the upper part of the settlement is try and put some shops in it. So on the ground level we've got a weapons and an armor shop, and there are stairs and lifts that link all of the levels. So you can take an elevator or a lift and go up a level, or you can just come up the stairs. And I was having lots of problems with the... here's another one of my vendors. Here's a clothing shop. I was having lots of problems here because it was not allowing me to do an awful lot of building. Every time I tried to put multiple items, it would crash. The game would just crash. And I think I reached an understanding of how many things I can build indoors in this settlement before the settlement just gives up on me. But what I did manage to do is I created a sleeping space, a living space for the settlers who are manning the stalls here in this building. So they've all got their own space, their own semi-private space to sleep and to keep their possessions, and to be able to be near the goods that they sell. This bobby pin box keeps doing that. I place it on top of the counter and it just slides. Don't know why. So as you come up here, again, there's a few more spaces. The lift will take you all the way up here, and there's a few more sort of semi-personal spaces, semi-public spaces for people to relax. And then here, this would be where this lift finishes, and it comes over here, and you can move all of the goods that are coming around. So there's a few trolleys here to move the goods to the next lift. But I've put a bit of a social space again for the settlers who live in the settlement and are the ones that run the shops. And I've done another sleeping space here as well, and a bit of a living area as well. So they've got spaces to go back on, and these are semi-private spaces because only people moving goods are going to be coming through here, and it's mostly going to be people who live in the settlement as well. So as we come up, we're almost at the very top. This is another one of those spaces where the lifts meet, so a lift finishes here and another lift starts here. So there's more trolleys here, and an overflow area for goods. If they cannot be anywhere else, they can be temporarily kept there. And as we come up, we've got a cheeky little barbecue space that was built by the settlers, because why not? Let's have a barbecue with a view. And we're at now the top space. This is the landing for the upper section of the settlement. This is the overpass, and you've got more trolleys here. And on this side we've got the Brotherhood of Steel and their barracks. And the Brotherhood of Steel barracks is a very functional barrack. It does what it says on the tin. The Brotherhood have their offices for doing their work. They've got their computers for analyzing any of the technology they find. They've got a mess where they eat. They've got a little R&R, a little recreation area where they can sit and read if they want to. A couple of non-military posters just to take the edge off, but they've got their bunks. They've got their storage for ammo and for guns. and they've got their bathroom. So it's a very, very austere and functional space, because the Brotherhood of Steel would be like that. I would expect the personnel that come in here to be rotated. I wouldn't expect them to get too comfortable in one place. They'd be putting scribes and initiates on a rotational basis here. And as you come up, you've got the vertibird landing port. You've got some protection turrets to make sure that the gunners that live on that side aren't causing a lot of trouble. And to be honest, they've not caused any trouble since I built the settlement. I think it's because they are not spawning now, because they just get taken out too quickly. And we've got the motor pool, which is where the Brotherhood of Steel do all of their workshop repairs. They won't do the workshop repairs with everybody else, because the nature of the Brotherhood means that they are keeping the technology separate and trying to make sure that it's well guarded. So they've got their own little area for doing all of their work. They've got a bit of a workout area here as well, and the fusion generator that powers the settlement. So in a way, they're also the energy keepers for the settlement. Now, as we come down this way, there is a little garden area here, and this little garden area continues a theme for the people who live up here. The people who live up here are the settlers who are managing the warehouse on the level below, and they've got their little home here, got everything they need. And I wanted to contrast it to the very functional mission-specific building of the Brotherhood of Steel by making it a lot softer, by having green vegetation, by having flimsy decorations, so that it felt like it's a house. This is where people live, whereas the other space is more, well, it's a military barrack. It's where soldiers hang out. It's where they go to sleep to have their chow, and then to have mission briefings and go out to do their patrols. Whereas this isn't that. This is where a family lives. And then, of course, down here we've got the warehouse, and this is the warehouse that is used for storing all of the goods that are both produced in Finch Farm and that are brought in from different places around the Commonwealth that are in transit. And there's the family takes care of it. They've got an office here with ledgers, so they can keep track of everything that comes in and out. And then on this side, we've got their communal kitchen, or their outdoor kitchen, really, because the Minutemen have their own kitchen. They have an outdoor kitchen, which is a lot nicer than having an indoor kitchen, if I'm honest. And a communal bathroom that is used with the Minutemen. My thinking is the Minutemen are going to be a local militia, so that the people from the Minutemen are more likely to be permanent residents of the settlement, whereas the Brotherhood of Steel are constantly rotating. So it may be that some of the people that work on the warehouse have a rotation working as helping guard like the Minutemen do. So in that sense, it makes more sense to have a bathroom that's more accessible to everybody. That's just me and my way of justifying it. But yep, this is a bathroom here for the family and for the Minutemen. And the Minutemen have their own little workshop area here, everything they need to work, to be able to carry out their work. And up here are all of the communications equipment, antenna, arrays, and then down here is the Minutemen. I was going to call it a barrack. I don't think it's a barrack. I think it is. It's the Minutemen mess hall. It's their living space, but they've got workshops, so they can do some work, because there will be maintenance that needs doing on the communications towers. They've got workspace. They've got all the listening spaces for the towers. They've got the main tower here and access to the main tower if they need to do any work on it. And then as you come this way, they've got their own eating space. They've got a Nuka-Cola machine. Because I think I wanted them to have a Nuka-Cola machine. I wanted them to be cooler than the Brotherhood and say, yeah, you've got a mess hall, but we've got ice-cold Nuka-Colas. They've got their little armory with all the guns they need and the ammo. And they've got a little sleeping space. Again, it's a smaller arrangement. It's got fewer beds than the Brotherhood of Steel, but it's for a reason. It's because the Minutemen will be part of this community, part of this settlement. So therefore, there's fewer bunks that are needed for that. And again, most of the ones that'll be using it will be permanent members of the community, as opposed to the Brotherhood of Steel, which will most likely be rotating personnel as and when personnel are needed. So, yep, that is the top floor. And that is what my Finch Farm settlement is. I hope you've liked it. A very quick update. I will be taking a break next few weeks, just simply because of family and real life and things that happen in the summer. So I will not be uploading videos for the next few weeks. And when I do restart, I will be starting in a new settlement. And I hope to see you then. If you've liked the video, thank you. If you haven't liked it, thank you as well, because you've managed to hang out for nearly half an hour listening to me waffle. So that's it, and I will see you in the wasteland. Thank you. Bye.